Howdy peeps, hope everyone's doing well. So this is just going to be not one of the usual sort of how I've been doing videos recently, talking about the cluster B spectrum individuals and all of that. No, this is kind of a secondary response, I suppose, to the comment that was left by AJ Leopard. I've obviously done a response video about that. So from time to time I get notifications about some of my favourite musical artists and whatnot. And I had one crop up about Dr. Dre. Now I'm sure a few of you might know who Dr. Dre is. He was in NWA back in the mid to late 80s. Started up a solo career. Kind of shafted himself a little bit with Death Row Records. You know, it kind of is what it is. I guess sometimes we all make these, I suppose, bad decisions, right? But anyhow, this is related to what I was saying regarding kids finding someone to have a deep connection with and then a home and all of that, right? Well, unfortunately, his missus is going to be taking him to the cleaners by the looks of it. Apparently, this is according to The Sun, which is, I don't know how much of this to actually take seriously. But anywho, it reads as follows. Facing the music, Dr. Dre could lose a portion of $1 billion fortune in divorce from wife Nicole as she claims he tore up the prenup. Okay. Well, unfortunately, guys sometimes do kind of silly things, you know, in order to kind of... I don't know the ins and outs of this, by the way, I just want to point that out. But sometimes a guy will act in a, air quotes, logical manner, what might seem right at the time, but truth be told, it ain't going to be the right thing at the time. It's just something that us guys do, right? It is. We do it a lot. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate until you start learning how to think about things a little bit more clearly. Anywho. So she claimed that he tore up their prenup after he felt bad for allegedly pressuring her into signing it. No, I think that was the best decision, even if he did pressure into it. No, I think that's a good ultimatum. Now, some people are sort of like, oh, if someone's given you an ultimatum, you should leave. Well, yeah. But this is a very serious thing that we're talking about. And this is something that, you know, as a sort of red pill kind of MGTOW content creator, you know, it's like, absolutely. You know, if you're going to be, you know the risks. You know, relationships are all about risk assessment. All of them, whether it's friendships, business partnerships, relationships, romantic ones, that kind of a thing. You know, and you seriously have to weigh up, what have you got to lose by entering into a, air quotes, business contract, which is what marriage is these days. You know, it's been that way for a long time. It's just gotten worse. I mean, on a kind of a side note of that, well, we've got Dr. Dre. Now, excuse the kind of terminology with this one. I consider him to be alpha as, right? Bad boy, gangster, you know, money, cars, probably been in quite a bit of trouble throughout his life for this, that and the third. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not going to delve too much into it. But he's been there, he's done that, he's done a bit of everything, right? The guy is straight up gangster, right? There's no two ways about it. And after, 24 years of marriage, she now wants half of his stuff. So, ooh. Yeah, so she got the bad boy, she got the alpha, so to speak. And 24 years later, she wants all the fame, all the glory. And for what? For just being by his side? How is that even fair? Well, it's not, is it? But this is what we're saying. Like, this is why, you know, marriage isn't what it used to be. It doesn't have the same meaning. And, you know, people just don't have the same standards that they used to have back in the day. There was a reason as to why, you know, the whole saying of an air quote, shotgun wedding. that used to happen back in the, I don't know, probably 30s or whatever, 1930s to maybe 1950s, perhaps. And whereas if a woman was promiscuous and ended up getting pregnant, the brothers and the father of the mother would go around to the guy's house that got her pregnant and basically put a shotgun to his nose and say, right, you either marry her or your life is done. Now, sure, that didn't happen in literally every kind of a scenario, and maybe that is a bit kind of far-fetched about it, but I'm sure it would have happened without a doubt. I mean, at least a beating, because it's like, well, he's, women used to be held up in such high standards compared to what they are to today. And promiscuous women from way back were just, pretty much like prostitutes. I mean, obviously, prostitution has been a thing since day dot because they provide a service that men want, right? Now, I'm not advocating for or against with that, right? Just want to point that one out. It's just a fact of life, right? There are brothels where in the countries, even the countries where it's not legal, there are still brothels operating. So if you want sex and you're willing to pay for it, if you're doing enough looking for it, you're going to find it, right? And it's, again, no strings attached. You literally pay them whatever it is that you desire, what it costs, and that's it, you're done, right? But anyhow, that's gone a bit way off track with that one. So let's read a bit more from The Sun, shall we? Nicole, 50, clapped back at her rapper husband after he claimed that the two signed an ironclad prenuptial agreement which prevented him from losing his fortune if they were to get divorced. Nicole, now this is where it gets interesting, who is an attorney herself, described in a legal filing obtained by TMZ that she was, air quotes, pressured, end air quotes, to sign a prenup before they tied the knot in 1996. She claimed in the documents, I was extremely reluctant. Well, you could have turned away, love. You didn't have to. Resistant and afraid to sign the agreement and felt backed into a corner. Well, it's a case of, if you felt reluctant, you could have walked away. You didn't have to marry him. If you were resistant, you could have resisted harder and said no. That's not what you want. And afraid to sign a document? What have you got to be afraid of? You go into the relationship with nothing, and then now you want to steal half of his wealth? And some? Like, really? But this is what we talk about, guys. This is exactly where we're coming from. It's like, Will Smith, Johnny Depp, also, air quotes, celebrity alphas, right? By social status and all that. Taken to the cleaners. No one is immune from this. And the more you earn and the more of a social status you have, it doesn't matter. These women do not care, right? It's about what they can get. Okay, let's carry on with this one. Air quotes. Given the extraordinary pressure and intimidation by Andre, I was left with no option but to hire a lawyer. Sorry, did I say that wrong? A lawyer. In brackets. Of course, with the help of Andre's team of professionals, close brackets, and unwillingly signed the agreement very shortly before our marriage. Well, you shouldn't have got married then, sweetheart. Simple as that. If someone gives you an ultimatum in a relationship and you don't agree with it, walk away. Every single damn time, walk away. If you don't agree with the terms and conditions, don't sign it. Let's carry on with this one. She then claimed that 2 years into the marriage, Andre acknowledged to me that he felt ashamed he had pressured me into signing a premarital agreement, and he tore up multiple copies of the agreement in front of me. I hope he kept a hard copy. Yeah. So, come on, man. The scenario. You can't be tearing things like that up and not having an actual, a legit copy somewhere, right? I know that's a bit of a naughty thing to do and everything, but still, women will put guys in that situation so that they do things like that for that reason, so that they can be the sole beneficiaries of it. Anywho, she then claimed that 2 years into the marriage, Andre acknowledged to me that he felt ashamed he had pressured me into signing the premarital agreement, and he tore up multiple copies of the agreement in front of me. Since the day he tore up the agreements, we both understood that there was no premarital agreement and that it was null and void. Oh, see, this is her side though, and this is something that we see quite a lot. In terms of like people wanting to rewrite things so it suits their narrative and everything. Now, in terms of legality, now that is a very, very big thing, and we're seeing this happen quite a lot, obviously. Nicole is allegedly asking a judge to separate the divorce from the prenup issue. Oh no, I hope the judge doesn't do that. Holly Davis, a founding partner at the Austin, Texas-based law firm Kirker Davis, who is not involved in the case, told Fox Business that Nicole has made some very smart moves with her most recent claims. Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet she'd say something like that. Holly Davis and Nicole Young? Really? Oh, look at this. Where have we seen this before? All the women ganging together. Girl power, right? Yeah. So what have you done to help Andre? Oh, that's right. Fuck all, probably. Just saying. The fact that they said very shortly before marriage is important because in some states that is a factor, yeah, right, California, right, in considering whether or not to invalidate. Ah, yes, and of course California loves invalidating rights of men, doesn't it? Of course it does. That's why it's called Comifornia, right? Or what we call a bust-up, a prenup, is how close in time to signing this document was the wedding, the lawyer reviewed. Yes, I bet now they're desperate because they want to get the wham in some money, right? Funny that. So I'm reading the tea leaves of what she's saying. I wouldn't listen to a damn word of what she's saying. But the fact that the statement, which has been vetted by her attorneys, highlights a very short time before marriage. I think we should expect her to claim that as a factor contributing to her signing it, which might be based in a legal argument. Oh, and women love legal arguments because, oh, I'm such a victim. Of course you are, sweetheart. So, she's rode alongside, metaphorically speaking, Andre for 24 years, and now she wants out and she wants half of his stuff. Typical. This is why we don't get married, man. This is why we don't do it, because there's nothing in it for us guys. There never has been for a long time now. Let's carry on. She also stated that her lawyers have created an, air quotes, interesting and creative. Oh, I bet they have. Because if one thing I know about lawyers is they create very interesting and creative defences when they mention that Dr. Dre ripped up several copies of the prenup to up the amount on a potential settlement. Yeah, of course. How about a nice great big bag of fuck all? How about that? Anyway, so the question now is, does that retraction in front of her count, and will he admit that he tore up the last agreement? Davis pointed out. I bet she's going around that house like a lunatic looking for another copy. I bet she is. Air quotes. So one person tearing up a copy and not drafting and signing an actual nullification, or even better, revising or changing the prenup, usually doesn't invalidate it, Davis explains. But it sounds like the fact that this is coming out and she's speaking out, it signals to me a full-on battle, and that is hugely important because it looks to me like a majority of his existing wealth was created well after the 2-year mark after their marriage. Damn, man. However, sources close to Dr. Dre, whose real name is Andre Romel Young, told TMZ that he never expressed shamed over their agreement and never tore it up and claimed it was invalid. The source further added that Nicole had hired her own lawyer, who was not picked by the record producer's team. They also claimed that Dr. Dre will pay spousal support and her expenses. Oh, god damn it. But Nicole has claimed he amassed most of his fortune during the marriage. Yeah, but if she didn't do sod all to do it, how is that hers? See, this is it, man. Stay independent. Do you know what I'm saying? Back in June, Nicole filed for divorce from the famed Straight Outta Compton rapper, citing irreconcilable difference. Oh, well, there's one, of course. The couple had been married for over 24 years and shared 2 adult children. son Therese 23 and daughter Truly 19. She is seeking spousal support, alimony, right? And is being represented by Samantha Spector. Oh, look, another woman who represented Jenna Dewan. Oh, look at that. When she divorced Channing Tatum. Yeah, exactly. And is currently representing Amber Heard. Oh, funny that. Oh, look, all the women gang together. That's the end of the article. But I want to say this, man. It's like, I remember when I was, because I've obviously spoken about having a mortgage and all of that. And my lawyer was female. And it's like she wasn't putting up a fight in my corner at all. It's like almost pandering. And it's like there was nothing but like irrational behaviour from the other person, or my ex. Fuck it, it is what it is, yeah. She was just being totally irrational, totally out of order. And all we was trying to do was sell the house and just so we could move on with our lives, right? I didn't want to cling on to it any longer than what I had to. But it's like she just kept on acting out, being out of order, didn't want to help me with the sale of the house. It's just literally left me, carrying the weight of it pretty much. And so whenever she had a bad day, it seemed to me at least, it's like the first thing she'd do is get onto her lawyers or solicitors, whatever you want to call them. She'd just take her shit out on me via a legal team. Again, costing me more money. Of course, the legal teams loved it because they're the only ones that actually win in that kind of a thing. That was a cohabitation dispute. But the only ones that actually win in that are the lawyers. It cost me thousands of pounds, literally in the thousands of pounds. And that doesn't include anything else like, all the other sort of, the legal fees for the actual selling of the house itself. And it was just like, wow, man. But yet here we are again, and we still hear the lamentations of women of where have all the good men gone. It's like, really? Are you even serious about that? Where have we gone? Mate, away from you lot. It's like there's like no benefit anymore. I mean, I'm going to do another video in a minute. I'm going to talk about something else that I've had on my mind recently regarding that sort of comment that was left the other day. But anyhow, look, guys, thoughts, comments and opinions, feel free to jot them down in the comment section as always. Thank you all for listening. It's much appreciated. Thank you for subscribing. If you ain't subscribed and you like the sort of content that I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. I get this is a bit sort of different, and I'm sure a lot of you would probably appreciate it a bit more, perhaps. Hit the notification bell so you know when I've uploaded another video. And until the next one, stay cool, stay free, go your own path, man. This is for your own safety, financial and emotional and mental more than anything. Peace out, fellas.